Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Presthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swamin Niti Namine. Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine. Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. Welcome to all the devotees for this session on Learn Gita through Stories. Today I shall tell you the story of a great king in former times. His name was Pururava. He was born as the son of another great king, Buddha, who was the son of the moon god. Pururava was born as the son of Buddha and Ila. When Pururava's great personal qualities, his beauty, his magnanimity, his behavior, his wealth and power were described by the great sage Narada in the court of Lord Indra, the celestial woman Urvashi was attracted to him. Pierced by the arrow of Cupid, she thus approached Pururava. Urvashi formerly was cursed by Mitra and Varuna, and therefore she had acquired the habits of a human being. Upon seeing Pururava, the best of males, whose beauty resembled that of Cupid, she controlled herself and approached him. When King Pururava saw Urvashi, his eyes became jubilant in the ecstasy of joy, and the hairs on his body stood on end. With mild, pleasing words, he spoke to her as follows: "O most beautiful woman, you are welcome. Please sit here and tell me, what can I do for you? You may enjoy with me as long as you desire. Let us pass our life happily in a sexual relationship." Urvashi replied, "O most handsome man, who is the woman whose mind and sight would not be attracted by you? If a woman takes shelter of your chest, she cannot refuse to enjoy with you in a sexual relationship. My dear King Pururava, please give protection to these two lambs who have fallen down with me onto the earth planet. Although I belong to the heavenly planets and you belong to earth, I shall certainly enjoy sexual union with you. I have no objection to accepting you as my husband, for you are superior in every respect." Urvashi said, "My dear hero, only preparations made in ghee will be my eatables, and I shall not want to see you naked at any time except at the time of sexual intercourse." The great-minded king Pururava accepted these proposals. Pururava replied, "O beautiful one, your beauty is wonderful and your gestures are also wonderful. Indeed, you are attractive to all of human society. Therefore, since you have come of your own accord from the heavenly planets, who on earth would not agree to serve a demigoddess such as you?" Then the best of human beings, Pururava, began freely enjoying the company of Urvashi, who engaged in sexual activities with him in many celestial places, such as Chaitra Ratha and Nandana Kanana, where the demigods enjoy. Urvashi's body was as fragrant as the saffron of a lotus. Being enlivened by the fragrance of her face and body, Pururava enjoyed her company for many days with great jubilation. Not seeing Urvashi in his assembly, the king of heaven, Lord Indra, said, "Without Urvashi, my assembly is no longer beautiful." Considering this, he requested the Gandharvas to bring her back to his heavenly planet. Thus the Gandharvas came to earth, and at midnight, when everything was dark, they appeared in the house of Pururava and stole the 2 lambs entrusted to the king by his wife Urvashi. Urvashi treated the 2 lambs like her own sons. Therefore, when the lambs were being taken away by the Gandharvas and they began to cry, Urvashi heard them and began rebuking her husband. "Now I am being killed," she said, "under the protection of an unworthy husband who is a coward, and although he thinks himself a great hero, he is actually a eunuch. Because I depended on him, the plunderers have deprived me of my 2 sons, the lambs, and therefore I am now lost. My husband lies down at night in fear, exactly like a woman, although he appears to be a man during the day." Pururava was stricken by the sharp words of Urvashi, like an elephant struck by its driver's pointed rod, became very angry. Not even dressing himself properly, he took a sword in his hand and went out naked into the night to follow the Gandharvas who had stolen the lambs. After giving up the 2 lambs, the Gandharvas shone brightly like lightning, thus illuminating the house of Pururava. Urvashi then saw her husband returning with the lambs in his hand, but he was fully naked, and therefore she immediately left Pururava and went away. No longer seeing Urvashi on his bed, Pururava was most aggrieved. Because of his great attraction for her, he was very much disturbed in his mind. Thus lamenting, he began traveling all over the earth like a madman. Once during his travels all over the world, Pururava saw Urvashi accompanied by 5 companions on the bank of the Saraswati at Kurukshetra. With jubilation in his face, he then spoke to her in sweet words. "O my dear wife, O most cruel one, kindly stay, kindly stay. I know that I have never pleased you or made you happy till now, but you should not give up my company for that reason. This is not proper for you. Even if you have decided to give up my company, let us talk at least for some time. O goddess, now that you have refused me, my beautiful body will fall down here, and because it is unsuitable for your pleasure, it will be eaten by foxes and vultures." Urvashi replied, "My dear king, you are a man, a hero. Don't be impatient and don't give up your life. Be sober and don't allow the senses to overcome you like foxes. Don't let the foxes eat you. In other words, you should not be controlled by your senses. Rather, you should know that the heart of a woman is like that of a fox. There is no use making friendship with women. Women as a class are merciless and cunning. They cannot tolerate even a slight offense. For their own pleasure, they can do anything religious, and therefore they do not fear killing even a faithful husband or brother. Women are very easily seduced by men. Therefore, polluted women give up the friendship of a man who is their well-wisher and establish false friendship among fools. Indeed, they seek newer and newer friends, one after another. So the lesson to be learned from this story of Pururava is given in the Bhagavad Gita by Lord Sri Krishna. Lord Sri Krishna explains to Arjuna the danger of trying to satisfy one's own lusty desires. Lord Krishna says in the 39th verse of the 3rd chapter of the Bhagavad Gita, Avritam jnanam etena jnanino nitya vairina kama rupena kaunteya dushpurena analena cha. The meaning of this verse is, a man's pure consciousness is thus covered by his eternal enemy in the form of lust, which is never satisfied and which burns like fire. In the purport to this verse, Srila Prabhupada explains, it is said in the Manusmriti that lust cannot be satisfied by any amount of sense enjoyment, just as fire is never extinguished by a constant supply of fuel. In the material world, the center of all activities is sex, and thus this material world is called Maithunya Agar, or the shackles of sex life. In the ordinary prison house, criminals are kept behind bars. Similarly, the criminals who are disobedient to the laws of the Supreme Lord are shackled by sex life. We can easily understand from the life of Pururava, even though he was a great king, emperor of the world, and he had so many wonderful qualities. He was qualified in so many ways. But when he got attracted by Urvashi and he became mad when she left him after he had tried to enjoy with her for many days. This lusty desire for enjoyment can never be satisfied, how much ever you try to fulfill those desires by trying to constantly enjoy. It's never going to be fulfilled. It's never going to be satisfied. Therefore, Shastra's advises, you should cultivate Krishna consciousness to conquer this lust. Get out of these lusty desires, and then you are peaceful, you're satisfied within yourself, and you're happy. Hare Krishna.